Welcome to the podcast, where we introduce you to incredible humans who share their journeys with the mission to inspire you to harness your own inner tenacity to drive your life and career forward. And now, your host, Adam Posner.
Bonin and Bough, my guest today. We'll do a proper introduction in a minute, but first, let's have a quick conversation about what we're drinking. I'm starting a new thing today. It's every Thursday, Thirsty Thursday. We're going to have virtual happy hour. You're my inaugural guest, and I am going out today with a nice 18. It's a value play here. It's a Shildag 18. Right. So you don't.
I'm just throwing up the Lagavulin. For those of you who know me, know that Lagavulin.
I love it, man. And we're having a nice drink here. So those who do not know my man, Bonin and Bough, maybe you've heard of some small companies like Mondelez, Pepsi, and Kraft, to name a few. This guy has been there, done that. Somebody that I hold in the highest regard as a human being, as a marketing god, somebody that I truly appreciate. Bonin, thank you for joining me on the podcast live. I appreciate you, and thanks for coming on board, man.
I'm excited to be here, my friend. How are you? This is day 16, baby. I'm just hanging in there. You know, it's crazy. I know people are going stir crazy out there. I found myself literally earlier talking to a spider, but it turns out he's actually a really nice guy. He's a web designer, so I found that interesting.
Well, is that your dad joke of the day? Did you already cash in your dad joke of the day? Are we done with the dad jokes for today?
No, I'm hey man, I'll be here. I'm here all night.
At least I'm here all night. I'm here tomorrow night. I'm here tomorrow morning. I'm here the next day. I'm here every single night. How is Captivity treating you? I mean, I've seen that you let yourself go. You've completely stopped shaving. You stopped doing your hair.
Everything.
It's a good start.
I'm not even clean anymore. I'm just like, oh. I shot this one shot. I have a shirt that says human, and I'm like, I'm human, don't shoot. You know, it's interesting because it's a little tough. I mean, it's tough in all those other ways that I think it is tough for everybody. You know, it's tough. My dad's 92. He's in Staten Island. I'm stuck here in the city in Chelsea. I haven't been able to see him. I think we're going to venture out this weekend now that we feel like we're, you know, it past the quarantine period. So I feel good about that. And I haven't really been going out. I do some supply runs. I try to choose optimal times of day. And we're not doing supermarket. We're doing deli, you know, so really focused on that. So I think that, you know, that's been hard. I will say the hardest thing has been just the sheer amount of digital communication that you're with. Even though I remember we did our first kind of Zoom party, like the first week of Captivity. And it was a Friday night, and it was amazing. I was like, oh, my God, all my friends.
All my friends are in one spot. We're doing it.
Exactly. And that was cool. Now we do them, and it's not – it lacks the allure because you really just miss human connection and in-person kind of stuff, you know? So I think that but all the digital communication, I feel like it's Groundhog Day and just literally work. So I've been trying to make sure that we actually, like, take a Saturday – try to cook a dinner, you know, we have a balcony. We're lucky, sit outside on the balcony and try to, you know, so yeah. Although it's cold, I wish they would why couldn't we be quarantined when it was summer out?
Well, I mean, you have to think about it this way, right? I mean, at least we're not in the dead of winter and we're stuck inside and we can never get outside. I mean, there's some silver linings here. But let's do a quick little pulse check. You're in the heart of New York City. You're in Chelsea. New York is hellhole. It's ground zero right now. I mean, shit has hit the fan. What's the vibe, man? I mean, how you guys holding strong?
It's hard to really judge the vibe because you don't really talk to anybody at the moment. You're like, too close, man. He's like, I'm across the street. What do you mean? You're like, still. Next block.
10 feet away.
Every other block, you know? So it's hard to judge the pulse. I mean, people are going about their day. I mean, you know, I feel, you know, I think one is my heart and prayers and wishes and thanks go out to all of the frontline workers, all the people who are keeping the infrastructure of the city going. You know, it's funny. I was on the phone with the Pepsi guys and you know, we were talking about some other stuff and they're like, man, you don't understand. Like basically the president is like, don't stop shipping water. Like we have to ship water. And what's crazy
Keep it going.
We got, you know, these guys are essential services at its extraordinaire. And what's crazy is you don't realize they're also now doing surge production. Like they don't, you know, the lines are running, we're running at maximum capacity anyway before that. Now they have to, you know, they have frontline workers and then how do you do so?
People have to be there.
And how do you, you know, like just the complexities and intricacies. So I'm so thankful for all those that are, you know, that are out there. And, you know, my prayers go out to everybody. In terms of New York, it's hard when you watch the numbers. I stopped watching the numbers.
You have to stop. You can't be staring at them, man.
You can't watch the numbers anymore. I mean, I barely watch the news that much anymore. It's all the same stuff. And so, you know, there's that. But generally, I think New Yorkers are strong, man. And, I think Cuomo's done a great job. And
leadership.
Yeah, leadership is there. And, I think that's been the hardest thing for me, too, is just how do you, not the hardest, but really realizing, like, I'm running this open message business right now. And so it's really about how do you make sure that you lead in tough times, and how do you make the tough decisions, but at the same time, make sure that everybody knows you're making the tough decisions for the good of everybody. And as much as you don't want to, we will get through this and we will be stronger. But in order to protect ourselves for our future together, this is what has to be done. So that's those are the things you wake up every single day worrying about. Are we going to lose a client tomorrow? Am I not going to allow somebody to put food on the table?
Right.
Like real stuff right now, in this kind of climate, because there's a lack of optimism right now. Although I try to be optimistic, baby, I might be lost.
Have to be
myself.
That's right. He found Waldo. You can see his shirt right there. Bonin has found Waldo. And it's so interesting, too, because to watch leadership, to find out what leadership really means in a non-conventional sense. I mean, this is true leadership at its finest. Right. And we're seeing people shine. We're seeing leaders step up. And we're not talking just about CEOs and presidents of companies. We're seeing leadership at every single level of an organization. And so many amazing people are stepping up and shining, and innovation as well. What are some things that you're observing as far as amazing innovation? I mean, I've seen Dyson. I mean, to give an example, Dyson literally in 10 days went from open source plans to production to shipping in 10 days. What are you seeing out there?
I mean,
ventilators, yes.
Yeah, the ventilators. I mean, it's, look, it's one thing to think about. So again, I have my maybe I didn't tell you this. I have my 92-year-old dad and my 92-year-old grandmother on a Zoom call. I think we broke the record in age, collective age.
The combined age, total combined age.
I think we beat that, at least per capita, right? But, we were talking, what was World War II like? Nothing like this. Because, go ahead.
No, I'm smiling because I want to continue this up. Keep going, man.
No, nothing like this, because it didn't come so sudden. Like, this happened, like, overnight. Think about GM.
3 days.
The reality is they had to literally stop the plants and pivot their business. Estee Lauder, these guys, Gallo Wines. I mean, like, it is crazy what these guys have been able to do. It shows you human perseverance is just so strong. And that's what makes me so optimistic and excited about what's going to happen post this. But the thing that we have to keep in mind, and we have to be prepared as a society to focus on, is our small business. And so at the end of the day, what we don't realize is they are the largest part of the economy. They are the heartblood of our economy. They are what keeps our kids safe on their streets. The people who open up stores on Main Street, they are the reason why we have better schools, because they allow for higher taxes. They allow for better, safer neighborhoods. And they are the largest employer on planet Earth and in the US. And what's going to happen is that we have to remember that in order for the engine of economy to run, we have to be willing to go out and invest in those small businesses and go back in those small businesses. And if we don't, that's what's really going to hurt the economy.
It's absolutely scary. I live in the burbs here in Long Island, and I've seen two things happening. One, I've seen obviously businesses that can't support right now that are shuttering. I mean, mom and pop shops that I've been frequenting for a number of years. But I've also seen a lot of innovation and support for the restaurants, for the food workers. We're doing curbside pickup, delivery. Like literally, I pulled up and I opened up the back of my truck and they deliver the food right into it. So much innovation, and food is okay. I want everyone to understand this. Like, take the right precautions.
It's not a foodborne disease.
No, but order from your local restaurants, buy gift cards for the future, right? These people need to pay their employees. They need to stay in business, because what's going to happen in a few weeks? I'm optimistic. I truly think here in New York, we're going to peak in a couple of weeks. And I think by early May, we'll be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
I agree with that.
And I think that we could sustain, not all businesses, because every business is unique financially, but I think businesses are going to take a major hit, and us as consumers are going to have to support our people. These are our neighbors. These are our friends. These are our family. They're business owners. And small town America, the burbs, the city, we got to step up and put our money where our mouth is and help these people out, man. We're all in this together. And that's the other thing, Bonin. Like, different than other disasters like Katrina, Sandy,
right? Everybody
in the entire planet is fucking affected right now.
Everybody. And it doesn't matter. I mean, there is some socioeconomic differences, so we should be honest. I mean, there are a lot of people who can afford to work from home and stay at home, and we should feel very lucky. I know we're complaining about quarantine, but the one thing I got a whole team that's working from home is that, look, you have a chance to be with your family, and that's a rare opportunity. Cherish that moment. But But yeah, the whole world is affected, man. It's and that's the crazy thing. But I think, China, who knows what the news saying, what do we believe, what do we not? But I think that they're showing that, there's light on the other end of this tunnel. But we are going to be forever changed when we come back from this. So, I think when a business, so you asked about small businesses. So the most interesting thing, the gift cards is a genius idea. We'll talk about that offline. I got an idea. But with the small businesses, I think what I saw, there's a nail salon, mom and pop nail salon across the street from us. These guys, nobody's going in and getting the nails done. So
that's like the opposite of what you should be doing. Someone holding your hand and doing your nails.
They put up a thing on their door, and then also you could text them, and they send emails out, and they basically offered up. They will deliver nail kits to your house, and then they're doing Instagram lives teaching you how to paint your nails, but like unique ways to do it, like teaching you techniques and tips. Genius, right? And they're doing it for half the price, but they're keeping a flow of income coming through. And so the creativity, and we've seen all types of creativity that's happening.
Amazing.
A lot of restaurants are doing cooking shows, cook with us, kind of, them and the chef. I think that's the thing, but that's who we are as Americans, as people. So
we're innovative. I mean, that's really what it is. And these businesses, what they're also doing is they're keeping their customer base interested and alive and engaged, and loyalty, right? They're hitting on the loyalty thing and giving back to us. So the pizza place, there was a thing on the news this morning about a pizza place. I think it was down on John Street that is literally churning out 400 pies a day and delivering to the hospitals, not just in New York City, but they're delivering up to Westchester, Long Island, and Jersey. And the landlord waived the rent. So we're seeing incredible amounts of it's across the board philanthropy and care. It's everyone in this together, right? Like landlords are losing money because if people can't pay the rent, what the hell are they gonna do? You can't kick everybody out. You can't kick people out.
I'm not gonna lie. I asked my landlord if there was a rent deferment in place. They were like, well, not now. I was like, okay, no.
Let's see what's happening here.
It's also, I also think that for me, business, what I've been talking about is, look, we're flattening the curve for the disease, but as a business, you have to flatten the decline. So how are you going to be prepared to rebuild out of it? So much is talking about what can I do right now? And I think that was a good early stage conversation, but now what can I do right now? And how can I prepare for the rebuild? And to your point, the right now is how much value can I add to my existing customer or capture new customers because of my generosity that I'm providing value for them, even if I'm not monetizing it, because they will remember that and be there for me when it's time to come out of this. And so that one-to-one relationship, like we have, we have a client on OM that's about to launch, a huge text service for the tri-state area. And literally they're taking, it's millions of dollars that they're taking on the chin to do it. But hey, it's going to be very powerful. And the funny thing is it wasn't even like, what are we going to do? How's this going to help us when we come out? It was just like, they said, what's the most impactful thing that we can do to help New Yorkers, given who we are? And this was the concept. And so, people who come from a place of empathy and humanity are going to win this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not even win, because I don't know if it's win or lose, but are going to.
No, there's no winners or losers here. It really comes down
we
to
all
us
lost,
looking out. We all lost here. The saving grace is, listen, there's so many people who are hurt and dying and injured and just not doing well, and our hearts go out to them. And I think the silver lining here is the innovation and the empathy bringing us all together. My personal feeling here, Bonin, I'm not a religious guy, but I believe in faith and I believe in fate. And I have this kind of feeling that the earth has this energy right now. And they said, humans, you've been screwing around too long, and like you need a timeout. You need a timeout. You guys are not connecting. You guys are not treating the planet well. You're not taking care of each other. And we are the virus. Like, we are the virus here. And it's scary to think about that. But look what's happening. The canals in Venice are less polluted. The dolphins. I never knew there was freaking dolphins in the canals of Venice. You look at the maps over China, the pollution. Yeah. I'll send you that afterwards. The pollution has dissipated over mainland China. Right? We're seeing things open up. We're seeing the reality. If we all just take a minute, and yes, there's an incredible expense, and I don't want to, right. I don't want to like, diminish the impact. I get it. Diminish the people that are hurt and the people that are suffering. But if you look at it from this complete, look at it from a million feet above, what's happening here, it's crazy. World peace. Literally, I feel like all wars and terrorism have stopped.
Right. Right.
Maybe we could take this moment, and I really have hope for the human race that we could like take this moment, but I hope we're not humans and go back to business as usual. I really hope we don't.
Well, you know we will. But I think that,
I don't want to say it, man. I don't come on.
But no, I think that to that point, you know, and you're one of the first people who has said it so eloquently. Maybe it's because you had some drinks.
You know how I get with drinks, man. We've invented shitcoin, which we'll talk about later.
Right. That's right. I forgot about that.
Well, that was many drinks when we came up with that idea. We'll table that one.
Good. Yeah, no, it was a filthy idea, but it definitely anyway. So but I think a younger generation is going to look at this and have appreciation for that. And I think a younger generation is going to force and be that change because they see that you're right. To be able to see that it took only 2 months to dissipate the pollution cloud over China. Like, that's nothing. I mean, it sucks to be inside for 2 months, but 2 months is a drop in the bucket of humanity. You know, like that is
not even a blip on the radar.
Right. It's nothing, dude. Like you can get through, you know, maybe all the seasons of Curb Your Enthusiasm. I mean, you're good, baby. Are
you watching this season? Are you watching this season, by the way?
Season 10?
The latest, Latte Larry?
Yeah.
I'm gonna start a spite podcast. I'm gonna start. I have an idea. Here's my idea. We're gonna start a spite podcast, and we're gonna call it Gary P.
Yeah.
We're gonna call it the Gary P podcast, and we're gonna spite Gary V on his podcast. And it's gonna be you, me, and Michael Loeb, and we're just gonna shit talk Gary for the whole time. That's the new thing we're doing.
I love it. Who needs a Saturday when you got Monday?
I love you, Gary.
I love you too, man. You know you're my brother, but you know, I will say Gary reached out and was like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" And I was like, "That's nice, man." You know, that's the other thing that's been amazing about this is just people just reach out. Hey, man, how you doing? I send it a lot. And you know, usually I send a photo. It's like, you know, but people laugh.
This is real.
Like, thank you, man. Especially that first week, I literally took a photo like that, just sent it to everybody. They were like, "Thank you, I fucking needed that."
It's so real, right? Like everyone just being real.
Right.
And there's a couple things I want to go back on, and I don't want to go on a sour note here, but there's a couple things. One, you know, I've been thinking about it a lot. Like you and I are lucky. We are lucky from a socioeconomic standpoint where we have space and we have security, but there's so many people in the world, in the United States or in New York, that are crammed into small apartments. And a lot of people are trapped with their villains right now. They're in terrible situations where they go to work and school to get away from those people. And they have that every single day, man, right? Like they have that break every single day and they don't have it. So how can we support them, right? How can we, as a resource, how can we give them, you know, time? And that's real shit, man. That's what worries me. That there's a lot of stories that are going to come out of this that aren't so peachy clean. Look, like I'm literally sitting in my den comfortable with a glass of 18-year-old scotch. That is privilege. And you know what? Like I'm lucky that I have that and I built this life for me and I'm taking care of my family, but I'm really genuinely concerned about so many people that don't have that.
Well, that's what I was saying. And, you know, look, people have to go to work. They don't have an option, man. I see taxis out my window right now. These guys are there. A lot of people are living, you know, paycheck to paycheck. And so, you know, we have to, that's why at the end of the day, you know, when we think about the reboot of the economy, it's really about getting liquidity into the market as quick as we can. And that's why I think I didn't even think like the card idea is great, but people don't forget that this will grind to a halt faster than we realize if we do not get back out and spend. Now, I'm not saying spend beyond your means. I'm saying make sure that we're supporting local businesses, make sure that we're supporting independent proprietors because they, at the end of the day, drive this economy.
Yeah, and I think that everyone needs to find their threshold, to your point, because there's a lot of people out of work right now. I mean, the unemployment numbers are absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And I know my job is someone in talent access, right? Like we're going to help everybody that we can, and there's going to be opportunities. And I think that people have to kind of think about their skill set. Let's talk about that for a second there.
I talked about that earlier on a podcast. But I said, what is your skill set? Keep on.
Yeah, let's drive on that for a minute there, right? Like, because people may be out of a job and they were top performers at their company, but their company can't afford to keep them right now. Maybe that'll change when we get back to work there. But now a lot of top performers are on the marketplace, but they have to think about pivoting, right? Like, think about your skill set. What else you could do? I'm good at 5 out of 5. Where could I take these 3 and kind of pivot into something different?
Right.
where like, and think of it as an opportunity. Think of it to diversify, maybe try something a little bit different. Maybe, hey, you know what? I have always liked product development. And I like the sales side of that. Maybe I'm a good salesperson.
Right.
Maybe I want to venture into that.
No, I agree. I think the pivot, we have like everybody does, we've got some digital content. We've got some too.
We got digital. Is it all content digital? Well, no, I shouldn't say that. Print is still alive.
You ever read
Print
a book?
Is still alive.
Yes. Positivity and pivots is the conversation, and that's it. Like, I think most people are going to get scared. That's a natural reaction, which is and then there's like, oh, I'm lost, and then there's like, I'm human, I can make it. And so, the biggest thing is staying positive. To your point, there is a silver lining in everything, and that positivity is what's going to help you make the right decisions. Because if you make decisions from a very negative space, you're going to not, make. And I get the pressure. Trust me, man. I wake up and look. We do a 9 a.m. stand up, and sometimes I wake up and I look at my emails and I think, and I'm just like, but I get on that phone call. I'm like, let's go, people. Let's get this. We
need people like that.
That positivity is important. But then I think, to your point, the pivot is going to be, what am I good at? What, more importantly, what will the world need in the next 6 to 9 months, next 6 to 12 months as it comes out of this? Like, and it's not like you need to go much further than looking at what's happened in past recessions. So we know that there's going to be a ton of money lending. What does that world look like? We're actually building a loan product right now for small businesses for the bridge between now and the SBA. So
I want to jive on that for a second there too. The SBA loan situation too. I mean, I'm a small business owner, right? And I'm waiting for your minority share paperwork to come through. I'm waiting for that investment to come through. We'll talk about that offline.
Yep.
I'm a small.
Me right now. No, go ahead.
I'm pitching you. I'm a small business owner. I'm scared as shit, man.
Right.
And I put in for my loan.
We did too on our businesses. But the reality is a large percentage of them are not going to be qualified. You got to look at the reality of this, and this is not to put any fear in people's mind, but just to look at the reality. You have now people who are trying to qualify people for loans at a scale that we've never seen before. And what's going to happen is they're going to default to guidelines that look much more like traditional banking guidelines, which means that if you're not a 780, 800 and better on credit score,
with your FICO,
you're not gonna get it. And so, and it's gonna be if you're especially a sole proprietor, or the business credit, and so a lot of businesses are really good businesses, but are not balance sheet heavy cash.
They're not good on paper.
They're not good on paper. And so a lot of business owners are not going to get that money. And what's going to happen is, and this is why we're so focused on, can we create a loan product that is a fair, just rate loan product? Because money's so cheap right now. What's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of predatory lending that's going to be in the 40, 50% interest, which is going to, but that's what happened in 2008. And there's going to be those. So protect yourself, be smart. But the most important thing is cash flow management. Like the basics is really where, like, we sat down with every single one of our portfolio companies and we went through the P&L and we went through what's in the bank today, and forget about, I'm going to raise money, I'm going to do this. If you couldn't raise another dollar, what do you have to do to secure your business today? And you have to be thinking about, when do people pay? And by the way, the problem now is accounts receivables are going to be dragged out probably another 30 days because everybody's fighting a cash flow situation.
I know.
You have to look at real, true doomsday worst case scenario. And then you can come back and say, how do I build a solid foundation for a business? And what do I have to do that? But it's just being real and planning and being smart. And you'll come out of this. And by the way, the other thing is, your employees would much rather take diminishing or cuts on salary, like we're looking at,
than lose their jobs.
And everybody, to your point, is in this together and everybody gets it. But if you can do things like, I will promise to pay you back when we reach X amount of revenue, whenever time period is, or, things that really show that you care about, anyway, it's a,
so 100%. And the couple things that I'm doing are, one, I'm thinking about back-end opportunities, right? How could I add value up front? How could I'm not calling it work for free, but how could we talk about payment on the back end? Right. How could I do work now right, to help my clients and my customers,
right,
knowing that the payment's gonna come on the back end because we're all in this together. To that point, if I help you be better, you're gonna be profitable, and you're actually gonna be able to pay me instead of sitting on that AP, right?
Right.
And that's the
no, that's the thing is like dude, look, I have a very healthy speaking business. I mean, I know I look like I am a caveman that just came out of, you look
like Sasquatch.
I know, but when I clean up a little bit, I don't clean up that much. I'd like people to still get that weird feeling. I don't know if he's post-human or I don't know. Let's see.
You're pro Magnum. Magnum.
I couldn't even think of it. But I think pro Magnum. I think that look, my business was devastated. Are you kidding me? Like if you look at outside of our portfolio businesses, like our core business, if you look at not core, but our business, like if you look at consulting, speaking, thought leadership, and like we've got shows that are furloughed. But our speaking business is like 50% of revenue, and that's like, sorry, gone, wiped out for the year. And
my God, no, everything's canceled. Everything's canceled.
2020 canceled. But
we're past, and we're also past the 90-day guarantee period for 2020. We cannot return it. We cannot do anything about it. March 31st was it, man. We are 90 days past due, and now it's April 2nd.
Right.
And now we got to deal with. And now we got to deal with April. Yeah. Now we got to deal with April. And I already told my kids. I have an 8-year-old daughter who kind of gets it. I'm like, make sure you're cool with mommy and daddy because these are your friends right now.
Right. This is your play date right here. This right here. Now go to your room.
But I want to talk about some positive stuff here. Let's talk about some silver linings. Right. What are some silver linings in your personal life, if you don't mind sharing, that are happening right now? All this time with your persona.
Look, man, I mean, I can't share anything here. I guess I could, but does video play well over here or no?
It's fine.
Let me see. I'll try to share something, but I'll talk about it. About oh wow, there's some video already playing in the background. Whoa, that's not right. No, I'm just kidding. About 9 months ago, my brother started posting. My father was a photographer who came here when he was 34 years old, and he's now 92. And he was a jazz musician in Chicago, came here, and then and his father gave him a camera, and he became a self-taught photographer. And he shot for 60 years, and he shot everything. He shot portraits, he shot studio, he shot special effects. I mean, he pioneered a bunch of techniques in special effects. Basically, he did the first Ray Kurzweil, and he shot a ton of street scene stuff. He would just walk the streets with his camera, and he's super prolific. Probably one of the amongst some of the more prolific photographers of that generation.
And I urge everybody to check out the Instagram page. What's the handle there?
It's Martin_Bough.
I don't know. Is your dad doing the montage pages on there? Whoever's doing that, it's awesome.
It's my brother. So my brother started posting on there.
I love it.
And sorry, I'm just looking for this. My brother started posting on there, and he called me up and he said, "You know what? There's more here in the archive than you know about." And I was like, "You know what? I'll be the judge, younger brother. Let me judge it." So
come here, little bro.
Yeah, listen, young stud. So I started going through, and my best guesstimate was that there was probably about 50,000 photographs. So we took the entire archive out of his apartment where it was, and we rented a studio in Mercer. It reminded me of the studio I grew up in, 5,000 square feet. That's not to say that my dad didn't own it, rented it, sold it, never made any money off it, which long story. But we started digitizing and archiving, and we realized that there was 500,000 photographs that had never been digitized and archived. So we had him talking about the photos we had him coming in twice a week, talking about the photos, shooting a documentary. I've been able to, this past year, we worked on that. We rented it 6 months. It took us to get through that. We had a mini army coming in. I will say thank you to all those folks who were dedicated and just loved the project and worked on it. And there's still a lot of photos he hasn't talked about. So what I've been able to do is I jump on Zoom and I share the photos. I hit record. And, unfortunately, my dad had kidney failure about a month ago, which I'm like, really, dude? Why can't everything has to happen at one time? What's going on?
Nice timing, Pops.
Right. Thanks, Dad. And so, he's got dialysis, which he fucking hates, but
it's all good.
And I try to get him to, sometimes he'll log his machine on during dialysis, but every other night, usually the dialysis nights are not good for me. He's tired, but every other night we go through the photos and he tells me a different story about each of the photographs, who's in it, what he was thinking when he shot it, and tells me about his life. Not going to lie to you. It's slow going because my dad's like, then there was a flower. And that
like next.
Yeah. Like, okay.
Dad, I'm good. But your dad has lived through some shit, man. Your dad has lived through so much history. He's lived through adversity. He's lived through success. He's lived through failure. What is all right? So we're not going to say your age right now, but like, what has that taught you at this stage of your life?
You wake up and well, first of all, my dad was like, I'm just hanging around until you have a kid. I'm like, okay, there's that little pressure. Guess I got to work on that now. Thanks, Dad.
You know what? One of the things, Bonin, about being captive with your lady friend.
Hey, man, don't get me wrong. I'm practicing. We're working on it. We got nothing else to do.
Happy hour, people.
Yeah. But, and more than anything, I want to be a dad, because I just want to be personally, and I also want him to have the pleasure of seeing a grandchild, so I keep telling him, yo, dude, you got to hit a hundo. But I think what it's taught me, it's interesting. So I'm 42. So he had me when he was 50 years old. Having an older dad is really interesting when you're young, because it's not like he's like, okay, go, let's throw the ball. He's like, throw yourself. No, I got, and so, or learn to ride, so you don't do a lot of those kind of like younger dad stuff, but there's a sense of wisdom that you take away from it. And especially as you grow older into manhood and you see what I take from him, look, I'm not going to lie, the stock market was not pretty. 2 weeks ago, I was like, holy shit.
Bye.
But yeah, it was fun knowing you. See you when I see you. But now it's like, and I just thought, I was like, what would Martin do? And I was like, he'd roll up a joint, get high, and be like, it's going to be all right. And so
it's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay. And, the sense of calm. The other thing he told me, which I find fascinating, he said, you know what? He eats healthier than everybody on planet Earth. But he said, the reason why I'm here today is because I never stopped putting my boots on. I always put my boots on, went to work. I always were busy trying to do something. And so, he said, the moment you stop doing, you start dying. And I was like, that's just deep, man. And so, and I watched the compassion he has for people and how he lights up, and he's even in his worst moments, he'll he confesses to me and he's like, oh God, 92 is tough. But, people come in, he smiles. Every doctor loves him. He jokes around. He's like, you're so pretty. Maybe I should marry you. I'm like, wait a second. It's not this. Dude.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm the one who's having a baby.
Right.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, my man. I'm 41. I'm only a shy year younger than you, man. I have a 1.5-year-old. I have an 8-year-old. It changes you, man. It changes you, man. And it's going to happen, and you're going to do it. And I can only imagine how lucky it is to be your kid, right? The wisdom that you got from your father, the wisdom that you're going to, hand down to your kids, they're definitely gonna be lucky. And that's called legacy. I mean, I look at my daughter now, and I'm so lucky that thanks, man. Like this is going to be a blip on their radar.
Right.
But what I mean,
I remember it, though. It's going to be a big blip. Crashing into that mountain.
I feel bad. I feel bad for the kids that are going in high school and they're missing their prom and they're missing graduation and all that fun stuff of senior year. What the hell are they going to do?
But they're also not getting tested. So we're not testing kids. Oh. We're just like, you probably made it.
You're good. Go.
It's like J-Date. Swipe left or right. What are you gonna
do you know that I met my wife on J-Date?
Did you really? Good for you, man.
Fact. Are you good for me? If you saw you met her. No, you met her last year at the Potter Knot. Yeah, she was desperate. She was desperate. Her clock was running out.
I mean, you could get nobody else unless they were. So I get it.
There's no choice there. So
you have a type.
I have a type, and it's a very special type. It's called desperate, right? My type is desperate. That's what we're going for here. So I want to bring this home here because we could do this all night, and I'm very grateful and conscious of your time. I want to talk about silver linings here.
Yeah, we were.
And I want to mention 2 silver linings here. The first one, I want to talk about brand silver linings.
The first silver lining is, man, you get to be at home with your 8-year-old daughter and your 1.5-year-old son. And think about the next time you're going to be able to spend that much time with your family.
Yeah, they're up there.
Right. I can see them. I mean, think about that. That's the number one silver lining. And I think people take it for granted how much we're able to spend time with our loved ones and get to re-know them, because honestly, in a snap of a finger, it's going to be done. And we're going to be off back on our merry way. And we're going to regret that
business as usual
to see, we're going to be in the same, I never get to, and so just cherish these moments, take a lot of photographs, shoot some video, play some games, do a puzzle, do a Lego. I got a Lego head that was done for me, actually.
You have a Bonin Bough Lego head?
1 second. Every big moment in my life, I bought a piece of Lego. I have so much Lego from my childhood. But every big moment in my life, every new job, anything that I accomplished, I bought a Lego. And, Justine Watkins, who is CEO of Bonin Ventures, when she came on board, she's a Brit. So I bought a huge Lego double-decker bus.
The bus.
I put together. I told her I wasn't going to put it together unless we put it together. So we haven't, but she said, I'm not going to be back in the U.S. for a while, so I might go ahead and do it this weekend as an homage.
Oh, we have a special guest, Joel Lundenfeld.
What's up, Joel?
and I don't know if you know my relationship with Joel. Joel was not my official big brother, but Joel was a big brother to me. We pledged the same fraternity at University of Buffalo. Joel is somebody that I have known for 20 plus years.
Wow.
That I hold in the highest. Joel, did you hear that? Joel, I will send you the link. I want you to come on in a minute. Joel is somebody that I hold in the highest regard. We talk about a career trajectory, an amazing carear, an inspiring career. And now he's just sticking with weed. He said, fuck it. I'm just going to weed. I'm just going to deal with weed right now.
Everybody's got a puff pass, that's what it comes down to.
I mean,
all right, man. So look, silver linings so that you can get out of here. You can throw to your next guest. I think
you're my only guest for today, man.
I think silver linings for businesses are really that they have a chance right now to find a pathway to connect with their consumers. And if they can add value, they can actually have a real relationship with their consumers in ways that we haven't seen before. And I think the other piece is that hopefully consumers are going to come out of this thankful and they're going to churn the moves of industry, the gears of the economy back on. And I think that the other thing is that you have, in some respects, it's a bit of a hard reset. I don't know if we share this, but I read this meme and it said, who drove digital transformation fastest? The CEO, the CFO, or COVID-19? And in reality, so many businesses talked about having to figure out new ways, but didn't do anything. And now they're being forced, and you can take that as a negative, or you can take that as a positive and try to restructure your business to really survive the future, not just this moment.
I love it, man. So I feel like we're going to have a special guest in a minute here. So two things. I would love to have you on the official podcast because I want to spend some time when we're out of this shit, and I want to talk about your career journey, your specific career journey, and I'd love to dig into all those pivotal points in your career when you were a little Bonin Bough, when you're hanging out with LeBron and, you're coming up the ranks. And I
was little when I was hanging out with LeBron because that motherfucker's just tall as fuck and he can't be anything but little. Yeah.
I want sports back. I miss sports.
Oh, God, I love sports. It's so
I miss baseball. I'm a baseball guy. So side note, I'm sitting in my New York Mets Shea Stadium seats.
Oh, wow. Good go for you, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm a diehard Mets fan. And right now it's baseball time. I miss baseball because it's opening weekend, man. And
most non-winners are Mets fans. I get it. I'm more of a Yankee.
We're happy losers. I mean, the thing here is we're happy losers.
For the Jets too.
No. That's where Gary V and I always had a point of difference because I would literally sit there and he'd be like, well, Adam, we're talking about stuff. And he's like, but at least you're a Jets fan. Let's bring on a special guest.
Special
guest alert.
What is up?
Where are you at, dog? Are you in SF?
Oh, he's good.
No, I'm in Tahoe.
Oh, look at you. You know what? This is just wrong. That's not quarantine candy. That's not fair.
Yeah, look. It's an important book.
Fair enough. Is it like, are you like killing your own bears now at this stage? And like,
yeah, we ate a few bears for dinner. It's good. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you. I haven't seen you forever, by the way.
I know it's been a long time. Probably.
Wait, Joel, take the hat off. Joel, take the hat off.
Why?
Yeah, he's like, wait a second. No.
I want to see the two. I need to see it.
Oh, it's just bald.
Oh, looking sharp. Bonin would not do that. I would not. I would look so weird as a bald guy. Like, I have such a weird shaped head. Like, this would not. It just wouldn't work.
For all the years he's been shaving his head, I've been growing mine. So I'm catching on to you, Joel.
Joel, how you doing, brother? How you doing?
I'm good. We're sheltering in place. The good thing is I'm able to do most of the work remotely, and I've been in Santa Rosa once a week, hanging out with the crew there. And it's also good that cannabis.
You're going into work.
Well, just to into our production plant,
right?
Where we grow all of the wonderful medicine for people.
Right.
Flowers are a good business right now. People want their flowers.
I don't even know, when did you jump?
Let's see. I left Twitter in 2017, and then I started. Yeah,
I'm gonna put my mic down.
August 2017.
Thank you.
And then I started at this job like I want to say February of 2019.
Wow.
So it took a couple of years to figure out who my family was, who I was, all that stuff, going the journey.
That's what I thought. I was like, oh, I didn't know. I didn't realize that long ago. Wow, good for you, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think the last time we saw each other, so Bonin was in a documentary,
at
Twitter years ago called Project Live.
Right.
And I don't know. I watched that recently.
You screened it at Cannes.
Yeah, we screened it there. It was amazing. We finished it live at Cannes. The whole movie was about live marketing, so we filmed the ending of it live at Cannes and then premiered it there. Right. We had Bonin co-starred with Sir Patrick Stewart.
Wow.
Aaron Paul.
I mean, I did better, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, who has a more long-lasting career? I mean, I watched Picard, but I'd rather watch Bonin.
But you know, in that one, he was funny because he held out the banana, and he's like,
yeah. Instant
little prop humor.
Right. Yeah, but you were talking about the Oreo tweet. Then like, it was, it's funny. I remember there was this moment in time that like the live marketing, real-time marketing was just bubbling, and it was like, let's do this. We need to document this now. Right. I'm really glad we did it because it definitely holds up.
Yeah, no, it does. Dude. I mean, I love the Oreo stuff, but the Patrick Stewart stuff, it is. I'm not gonna lie, he did okay in that point.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
I
got to get drunk with him and his wife the night before.
Really? Is he funny?
Is he a good drunk?
God, he's so funny. He's got a dirty mouth. Like, his wife's cool. She's a lounge singer. Awesome. Brooklyn.
Wow. He really I saw him in The Tempest in Shakespeare in the Park. His range as an actor is just phenomenal, dude. He's just such a good actor.
Oh yeah. There's a horror movie that he was in. I forget the name of it, but it was about a band that shows up in like this kind of backwoods bar, and there's all these like, oh hey, how's it going?
Hey.
I can't hear
she can't hear, but say Joel. Yeah, Joel jumped in. She can't hear. Keep going, Sir Patrick Stewart.
You're just bringing in guest stars everywhere.
Yeah.
Then I was gonna be you and me, Adam. Damn it!
I know. Now it's a foursome.
Well, I can let you guys go if you want your personal space back. I understand. Bonin, where are you right now?
I'm in Chelsea. We were gonna leave and try to find someplace warm to hunker down, but unfortunately, my dad. It's crazy. Like a month ago, my dad's 92. We just digitized all of his 500,000 photographs of his that shot 60 years. It's been amazing. The last year has been an amazing moment just with family, working with my brother and my dad. But I send him every winter down to someplace warm, and he was in the DR, and I went to go visit him because we needed to pick. We were going to do a whole show at South by with 92. Levi's donated 300 jackets to us, white, gray, black, and we were going to do 92 people at marching band, and they were going to do a living museum. They were going to switch and do 3 different shows, and we were going to move them around, and like it was. So I went down there to finalize the photos and also just to see him, and all of a sudden his kidney failed. And so we had to take him to the hospital. We knew his kidneys were bad, but we thought he had at least another year and a half. But it just didn't work out. So he's on dialysis now, so it's impossible to move him. Like we tried, and they were like, "Yeah, we're not taking New York patients right this second." I was like, "You're Miami. You got people on the beach. What the fuck are you talking about?"
I know.
It's in New York.
I remember how did that documentary turn out with your dad on the trip that you took?
Oh,
did you ever film that?
Yeah, we did we did two. I think when we talked, it was I guess not. Yeah, because it must have been the first one. We got the doc. We went around the Yucatan. We shot two of them. We went around the Yucatan, and then for 21 days, I'll send you a link. It's really a beautiful piece. It's actually a very, very beautiful piece. I'm very proud of it. I love
that you did that. That's so inspiring.
It's amazing. We climbed all, but it's called Jazz is a Four-Letter Word because he was a jazz musician. He still plays now. We're actually going to do an EP for him when this is done. I got a whole studio booked and stuff and a bunch of collaborators. Nice. And then we shot another one in Africa called Origins. So Jazz is a Four-Letter Word, which was the first one we shot. We asked everybody what are four-letter words that you think of that have importance to you? Love, fuck, whatever. And it's really this beautiful piece around him talking about the evolution of jazz and also the evolution of spirituality, and kind of it's a father-son, both trips are. And my dad and the other person's son are really in a deep spiritual camp. Me and Mickey are in more of a scientific. It's this weird blending. It's a beautiful piece, and it's only an hour. And then we shot Origins, where we went around Africa and we asked everybody, "What's your origin story? Like, where do you come from?" And it's mind blowing because we're all different people. People who were Africans from Africa, they were like all the way back, like Shaka Zulu, like kings, queens, like all the way. People who are from Europe, they could trace back pretty far, maybe to the crown at some level, or not crown, but like into Middle Ages. People who were Latin American, not so much. African American, not so much. It was just interesting, and it was a whole thing around origins and how much your origin story shapes you or you shape it. And now this doc is called The Decisive Moment, and it's all about his photography, and it's got 5 real big scenes, real big plots, but It's really about like capturing that moment and being in the moment at the same time.
So that's amazing. And, you inspired me when you told me about that. My uncle, before he passed away, so my father passed away, 13 years ago now. And both of his brothers passed away. Yeah, it's crazy. But my uncle wrote this book, The Only Jew in New York. It's all about his
title.
upbringing.
Fictional. Yeah. It's a fictional piece.
Fictional. My uncle and my father had to hide that they were going to college because it just wasn't valued in the family. They were like dock workers and they worked construction, and so my uncle used to basically like get my brother. They said they were working, but they were going to college, and it's a wild story that one day I have.
Did Jewish families not believe in college?
No, it's just the family grew up so, we're so poor. We had no means, and they just needed everyone working. There was the luxury just wasn't there, and they just didn't value it. But all 3 brothers became educators, professors, doctorate degrees, including my father. So it's and the power of education pulled our family and turned it around.
Right. Good for you, man. I mean, honestly, Adam talked about it at the top of the introduction of you into our threesome, but
a weird threesome. I never imagined this in all my years.
But by the way,
Joel, in our days in the basement, Bonin, I'm going to tell you offline about our days in a weird basement in the middle of Buffalo, New York. Offline, that's a story for another day.
I didn't pledge, but I have a ton of friends who. So I and I also saw that.
We'll pledge you in.
I saw that movie also. I'm good now. I'm actually, but just so you know, Joe, we open it up and he's like, is the mood lighting okay? Is the fire and the music? I'm like, what kind of podcast is this?
Now smooth jams with Bon and Bough.
No, but I just have to say, man, your career is impressive. And more importantly, it's always been amazing. It's amazing to watch, but it's amazing to interact with you because you're so empathetic and you're so sensitive to people, and you're such a you care about how people feel and where, and what can be positive for them, positive vibes every time. Just even now, just seeing you, man, is like,
I appreciate that. Thank you,
smile, man. And that's like, there's only a few people on planet Earth where you work with, and you're like, man, I really enjoy working with that motherfucker.
Yeah, man, we're back at you. Definitely miss working with you. We should catch up one day when we're not in front of everybody.
And not on my podcast. I love it.
I'll show you a couple things around the house. You were showing Legos.
I was going to say, you're zooming with somebody else over there, but that's a piece of art. I was
I'm obsessed with Conan.
Right.
So you can see his sword here.
Love it.
And
I love
his
it, Joel.
father's sword here, which represents my dad. And I will be getting those tattoos soon. As soon as the world gets back on its axis.
You shouldn't do it right now. It's probably not safe.
No, not right now. Oh, nice. Oh, I like that. But yeah, I mean, I heard what you were saying about before about the silver lining for businesses right now. And one thing, I don't know if you've noticed, but it seems like my creativity is on fire. Like the amount of ideas, the amount of, three different businesses I was talking with my friend yesterday about building, three simple apps that I think could be really useful and good ideas right now. And people coming out of the woodwork with ideas, and then just like this outpouring of what we're doing now online. If you can give money, like you were saying before, but if you can give creativity also, like that's it, or empathy or a smile, or, I mean, that is everything. It's hard to keep up. I'm in like different, Buddha prayer circles at night, and different mobility classes. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. So
are you over Zoom? Are you over Zoomed right now?
We did a cat party last night for my cat.
What?
We're there for my cat's 1-year birthday with my girls, my two girls. So we invited 4 families over, and we did cat party, and it was cool. And tonight we have
over in person or in Zoom?
No, in Zoom.
Right.
So tonight for dinner, we're having our friends Rich and their kids over, and we're just going to put the laptop at the head of the table and have dinner together at 6:15.
I love it.
Right.
Are we reconnecting as a human species? Are we finding ways to reconnect and put our devices into a different mode than us looking at it for being self-centered and self-centric versus now turning it the other way and connecting with everybody? I mean, it's a pivotal turn.
We're hearing voices more now.
I was literally telling him I was speaking to a spider earlier today, but it was a good spider. He was a web designer, so
he's telling fucking dad jokes. I mean, like I can't stop the dad jokes coming from Bon and Bough right now. I mean, I'm gonna write a whole book of Bon and Bough dad. Joel,
dad jokes. I got more, man. I got more. Okay, so there's two cows. Two cows standing, talking to each other. One cow says to the other, "Hey, if you died, do you ever see yourself coming back as a leather purse?" And the other cow said, "No, but I could be swayed." Come on. All right, Joe.
Okay, on that note, I actually have a 3:00 meeting I got to jump to. Love you guys. Good to see you.
Joel, thank you for joining us.
Good to see you, sir. Pleasure.
Brother.
Bye.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a guess. I mean, Joel has. I mean, like my history with Joel, man, goes so deep, man, dude. Like this guy.
Are they still like? Are we?
People still watching us. We got a handful still tuning in over here. Listen, man. You know what? Like this is what keeps. Can I tell you something in all seriousness? This shit right here keeps me sane. Like I lost probably 50% of my business. I'm still doing well with Loeb. Loeb's my soul brother over there. Right. I'm still supporting Loeb and company. This keeps me sane, man, because I can have conversations with folks like yourself that keep me elevated, motivated, that keep me going, man. We're creating content. I'm going to create so much shit from the shit. And I want to end it here. I want to end it on a high note. I want to end it, and I'm going to save this for I asked this question on my podcast. I'm going to ask you it again. I'm going to ask you again. What is your North Star? What is your beacon? What is your lighthouse that's keeping you going, man?
My lighthouse is the people in my life who I enjoy being with and seeing. I've got so many great people that I just love that I think about, and I dream, about the best for them, and I so that's the thing. And those include people who I work with. They're an ex-wife, a current wife, a dad, a brother who I love. That's what keeps me going. It's like I enjoy. Look, Adam, I love life, my friend. I love life, and I love
this is humanity.
My life, and I love making people love life, and that's just really what matters to me, man. Like that's what else would I be doing if I wasn't doing this? You know, dead. Right. I mean, it's definitely restful.
I mean, you talk about silver linings, and that's the silver lining. I think we're being all of us, hopefully, are so much more self-aware of the things that matter to us, our values, the things that are important to us, and cherishing it, because we are going to return back to some semblance of normal.
Right.
But we're going to have so much more gratitude, hopefully, please, into your family and your friends and spending that.
Well, so, you're also going to have so much more quality time. Again, when's the last time you spent 2 months with motherfuckers that you haven't seen forever? You know, it's like oh
my God, my little one.
Like,
I wish
why are you still here? Don't you go to work?
I wish he was here right now because he's an absolute him. But I want to wrap up with some thoughts I think about you, man. You've been in my life for a couple of years, near, far. Different points. We've been through some funny shit. We saw some funny shit together. We saw the best and worst of people. We saw a startup founder get eviscerated. It's not even a word. I saw someone like just fail.
I forgot about that. That was a rough meeting.
Right. But more importantly, like I'm lucky to have people like you in my life, people that I look up to in a career perspective, people I look up to as advisors, people I look up to that I could count on, people that I'm grateful that I have in my life at this point in my career. And I value you and I value our relationship, and we're going to keep this going, and shitcoin will live forever. And we're going to talk about that later.
Shitcoin, find a way to crap itself out one way or the other.
And I'm going to have a sober podcast, proper interview with Bonin Bough in the near future, because I want everyone to learn from his career trajectory, the ups and downs from little Bonin Bough before what you see right here, whatever this situation is, this current unshowered, unshaven.
Like Joel, like, my dad moves to New York, not a dollar in his pocket. He was being chased pretty much by gangsters in Chicago, moves here, figures out to become a photographer. Mom passes away, sells his mom's house, takes that money, buys this, gets a studio, starts running a studio, buying photographic equipment, becoming a true photographer. Parents get separated, everything falls apart, studio, business destroyed. My mom moves up to Harlem. She's got my younger brother who's now being born. We're living in on 163rd and 159th and Edgecombe on welfare and food stamps. And the reality is that statistically, I'm not supposed to be here. And so, I think that I thank God for my mom's perseverance, for making sure that that none of that ever mattered. Like I didn't even realize that. And when I look back, I'm like, fuck, that was some real stuff. But my mom never let that be a thing. It was always like, you can do whatever you want. Like this situation, you're blind to this situation. And so, I'd love to talk about that. But I think the bigger thing is in the same exact way, like this is going to be painful for many people. But look, this too shall pass and we too shall rise, and it's going to be much better. And I think as long as you think that, you're going to Joel's point, there's so much creativity that's coming out as a result of it. So I'm excited.
I'm excited for humanity. I'm excited for innovation. My heart goes out to so many people that I actually know firsthand. I'm sure you do too, that are affected by this. The first responders, everyone out there that's giving their heart there, please continue to do so. Give where you can. Be generous. Be charitable. Take care of your local business. And absolutely. So Bonin Bough, I appreciate you. I'm going to have Bonin Bough on the podcast proper shortly. Everyone watching, I appreciate you tuning in for us.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. I know everybody the show, but it's all good.
Please, bro. You know what? You don't give me enough credit because we haven't done this enough. I will literally MC your shit any day of the week. You're going to have me up on stage being your hype guy. I'm going to get you up there. We're going to do this properly. But tomorrow, I got 1 p.m. and we will not be doing drinks, but I will have Dave Meltzer on the call. Dave Meltzer will be me at 1 p.m. tomorrow. Everybody out there, take care of each other. Be safe. Bonin Bough, I appreciate you. Everyone tuning in, thank you so much.
Adam, you're a fabulous person. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you. Everyone listening, tune into the podcast. Thank you, everybody.
Wisdom is forever, but for us, it's time to go. Thank you for joining us. Luckily, we'll be back with our next episode soon, jam-packed with more incredible humans. Thank you for listening, subscribing, and sharing. To join the conversation, search the podcast on LinkedIn. And to catch up on past episodes and more info, please visit www.thepodcast.com.